an adventure in. We are so excited. We're here for our striper fishing event, but we had to kind of make a detour north from Cape Cod because we heard Angelica was in town and on the Falcon from the popular show Wicked Tuna. And we are here. She invited us aboard. We are at the helm of the Falcon. Angie, can you believe that?
No, I would have.
My dad's not here. I'm captain now. Like, it's a fun time.
Yeah, we're trying to get her to take a photo, but
we'll see. He gave me the key. He didn't. He didn't give me that much
power. He didn't
power.
say no. Isn't it better to ask for forgiveness than permission? Right? Common theme for today that we're experiencing. So. Wow, this is your life, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting us.
Of course.
What's it like? Come on, what's the inside scoop? We're here in the boat now. What's it like when you're out there and you have a big tuna on?
Well, when you have a big tuna, do we have it on the rod?
I don't know. The whole thing is
you have it on the boat, because that's two very different things.
Yeah.
Like, when you have it on the rod, one thing can go wrong and you don't have that fish anymore. So that is one of the most stressful situations I've ever been in, because on one hand, it's high energy because you've got this fish on the rod and you could get this fish, but also just as easily you could lose this fish. So it can be really tense at times, right? But also you spent all day waiting for this one bite. So it's pretty exciting. But when you actually land that fish, that's pretty cool. That's one of the
pinnacle moments that you wait
exactly,
for.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I suppose losing it is like losing a pail full of money with $5,000 in it down on the bottom of the ocean that you'll never get back.
Exactly.
So.
I mean, like I like to say, we spend 8 hours at least out on the boat, right? Most people, they usually go to their office job from 9 to 5, they work their 8 hours, and then they get a paycheck at the end of the day. We can go out there for 8 hours, do a 9 to 5, and except usually it's like 3 to, I don't math, like 6 or something. And then we go home and we don't have that paycheck.
And you burned a lot of fuel.
And we burned a lot of fuel, so now we're in the red.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough not knowing that you've done, and the worst part is, you've worked so hard, and you've done the time, but you have nothing to show for it. And it's not anything you did wrong, it's just bad luck.
Yeah,
and that's pretty hard.
That's fishing.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the podcast, but in case people missed it, how did your family get involved in this whole Wicked Tuna?
Well, that's actually a really interesting question. So my dad actually has always been very vocal in the fishing community. Like, he was always at the meetings when they were discussing the politics behind, like, what would happen to the fishermen, right? So I think actually there's this article written by, I don't remember which newspaper, but there's a picture of him banging his fists on the table because he's very upset because of what legislation was maybe trying to pass. But he was always very vocal for the fishermen. So when they were interviewing for this show, the production company, Pilgrim Productions, they were sending people around because they had this idea and they had to find the right cast. So they're interviewing people and everyone's like, not everyone, a couple people were like, hey, you should talk to Dave Marciano. He's very active in the community. So they kept name dropping him, and sure enough, they interviewed him and they were like, well, he's the guy we need because he's a family guy. He's that character that really launched the show and held it together. Because everybody else, I love a lot of the other captains, but they have jobs on the side. My dad was that one commercial fisherman who's been doing it commercially his whole life. He doesn't have another job. This is his job. Like Dave at the .com, he's one of my favorite captains, but he's a pilot for JetBlue, so he does this seasonally, right? So, and a lot of the other captains they retired and fished. So, totally different environment.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's so cool standing back there on that back deck and imagining one of these giant tuna laying there.
It takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Well, ideally.
Right.
Yeah.
I lose my mind over a king salmon. I can never imagine what I would do over a tuna.
Well, I'd probably lose my mind over king salmon too because they don't come around here. Yeah.
Well, Angie and I are both captains, so maybe they can do like an all-women tuna boat.
I'd love that. I would love to see an all-women crew. And I think for the Outer Banks, there was a season or 2 of all
I
women.
remember that.
Yeah, and a lot of, but I think that they were 2 separate captains who joined together for the show.
Okay.
So it may, like, when you're captain of your own boat.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want another captain telling you what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just life. But I would love to see more, because I know there are a lot of women fishermen out there. I'd love to see more women fishermen crews, like, band together. That'd be really cool to see.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we're working on that. The
Mhm.
highest percentage of licensed sales increase are women. All the others are decreasing. Women's licensed sales are increasing. So there's hope.
Oh, that's
for it.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. That's really cool. I mean, half of it's like the work you do, and also people knowing that fishing is so much more than
Fishing.
Just catching.
fishing. Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, fishing is just more than fishing. But there's a lot more to it, and you also don't have to be the toughest or the strongest. Like, you can go out there and show up and put time in and just listen, and you'll catch something.
Yep. For sure. Well, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
Course.
And we're going to look forward to what else you got coming up in your career here that you can share now. I'm sure there's a lot of secrets brewing, but anything you want to give us the scoop on, hot off the press?
Well, I'm actually, I'm going to take this winter off. I'm not going to do the Outer Banks because I'm moving to New Mexico because I'm actually pursuing a career in film production. So that's pretty exciting. But I plan on coming back for next year of Wicked Tuna. So we'll see.
Was that kind of
Fingers crossed.
inspired from all this?
Funnily enough, no.
Okay.
No. Because I'm working on films, like on movies, right? And it's funny, like, I see, we see productions and producers here, but I never thought that I wanted to do this because I was like, oh, that's reality TV. That's, fishing. And I'm like, I don't want to do fishing forever. I love it. But, that's Joe's thing. I can't take the shine away from my baby brother. But it didn't really seem so viable to me until my friend actually got me on a film set, and I was like, oh, this is different. This is fun. But it's funnily enough, you have that same sort of energy that I brought to the boat. It's like, it's tough hours, it's pretty intense, but there's always something new and always something different, which is why I really enjoy it. So.
That's cool. Well, we'll look for your name in the credits then.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, and this has been great. I hope it'll be an insight to the life here with our audience, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.